What's going on, everybody? So I am currently on my way home from up in Northern California near Marysville, Yuba City area, and beautiful scenery out here. And I thought this would be a great conversation to have about riding, your mindset, and everything like that. Maybe throwing a few other things around here, but you know, the main thing is when you're in is getting the right mindset, especially as newer riders. You want to make sure that, you know, you're focused when you're riding, that you're keeping your thoughts straight, you know, that you're paying attention to the road ahead of you. There's so many things that can go on that if you just start to blank out, you know, next thing you know, you're 30 miles down the road and you're like, wait, how did I get here? You know, there's so many things that can go wrong in that kind of time period. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is kind of that, getting that mindset straight and preparing yourself for a long trip like this. This one was about a 2-hour road trip. It's actually my first real long road trip out. And so I thought, you know, why not talk about this? So the first thing is your pre-ride checks. So these are kind of the nerves that you get before going out on your first real long ride. And so, you know, I had a bunch of nerves, you know, because you're leaving that safety net from home. So how did I prepare for that, and how can you prepare for that? The very first thing, obviously, for me is doing a thorough bike check. You know, make sure your tires are good, that you have the right air pressure in there, checking your positive and negative battery terminal, you know, making sure that those are screwed down and tight. Those are kind of the two main ones. Other than that, I did a walk around on the bike, checked for any leaks, made sure that my oil drain plug was tight. You know, make sure you have enough oil, make sure you have your gear strapped down. That's a big one too, is making sure that your gear is strapped down. You know, making sure that you've kind of tested that out before. You know, that way you don't get any surprises and lose your bag off the side of the road. So that's kind of as far as the motorcycle itself, some of the pre-ride checks that I do. One thing I like to do too is I do a little detail on my bike before a road trip. You know, I clean it, I wash it, put some wax on it, you know, basically the reason being is because while you're doing that, it takes time for you to do and go over each and every little part of your bike to detail it. So while you're doing that, you can use that as an opportunity to basically look over everything, examine it, and make sure that it's safe. Other than that, you know, clutch, making sure that your clutch is working and things like that. It's just your average kind of, you know, pre-ride check. I keep a list in my garage a lot of times. Now at this point I really don't, because I've remembered everything. I've done it so much. One other thing to check is your light bulbs. Make sure all your lights are working, your high beam, low beam, etc., etc. So that's kind of the pre-ride. Once I, you know, one more thing I do is once I get to that point of the actual ride, everybody has their thing. You meditate, you know, you take a second to think, clear your mind. And what I like to do is I say a little prayer before I leave, and you know, I also let people that I love or that I know, you know, I let them know, hey, this is where I'm going. I'm leaving now. This is when my time is expected, you know, when my expected time to be there is. So that way they know in advance, you know, especially if you're going by yourself. I don't have anybody with me, so if you're going by yourself, that's a great thing to do also, is let people know in advance. So I let people know. You can use Google Maps. You can actually share your location so they can see where you are if anything ever does happen to you. So yeah, so right before I get out on the road, I let them know. I say my little prayer and basically do one last pre-ride check. You can never do too many of those. So I do that and hit the road. One thing also is, before you look, if you're going especially for a far distance, you know, look at where your gas stops are. Know each location that you're going to stop at, how long you're going to ride. You know, I think this bike is about 100 miles, but I took it safe this time, and I said, you know what, about every 90 miles I'm going to stop for gas, give or take a little extra. You know, once you're out on the road, make sure you're relaxed. It's just like what we talked about in the other video, you know, just keeping a relaxed, loose grip on your handlebars and just kind of enjoy it, man. You know, once you're out on the road, your mind will start to kind of clear up, and it's just amazing how much you just kind of focus on what you're doing. You know, I try and stay away from sugary drinks before, because it's just going to cause a crash halfway through, you know. So Make sure you bring water. I drink a bunch of water. Make sure you use the bathroom, all that stuff before I leave. So that's one of the things I recommend as well. But yeah, once you get on the road, take frequent stops. You know, if you have to, every half hour, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever it is. I got an hour and 56 minutes just because of the ease, you know, the distance and everything like that. I'm going to stop every, you know, probably 45 minutes, just make 2 stops on the way, one for gas and then maybe another one just for a break as I approach the last stretch. So yeah, so making frequent stops. The other thing that I would say would be, you know, if you're a little worried, you know, that first trip that you make, maybe have somebody come with you and follow in a car or lead in a car. You can follow them. That way then you just kind of get that mindset of like you feel like you got somebody with you. Other than that, once you get to your location, do one more once over on your bike just to make sure if you have to leave right away, you're ready to go. Other than that, have fun. It's one of the greatest things, honestly. I am so glad I actually took this route out. You know, like I said, I was nervous before, but after I got on the road, it's just, there's nothing like it. It's really a feeling of just you and your mindset. You know, I got my music on and I just have a good time. So with that being said, if you got any questions, feel free to comment. Please like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll be coming out some more content soon. I'm trying to keep it out to once a week. So yeah, have a good day.